Hi guys and welcome back to the vlog. So today we're at Tropicana's East 1 course. If you have watched my other vlog, I introduced you to West 3, which is actually another 9 here at Tropicana. Tropicana has 27 holes, so I'm showing you 2 of the 9s, and today we're out on East 1. So the first hole here is a par 4. It is a dogleg left par 4, and there is hazard down the left side. So if you've watched my West 3 vlog, you would know that I mentioned that Tropicana has recently cut a lot of their trees, and the right side here actually used to be more tree lined, but after they cut the trees down, actually the right side now is pretty wide open. So that is actually a good target because you do need quite a bit of distance to carry that hazard on the left side. So I am aiming out towards the right side, but I actually scooped it a little bit, and that's why I was laughing. But I just ended up over a little bit in the rough, so it's not too bad of a shot. This second shot, it was in the rough, so you can see that the ball is sitting down a little bit. The green is a little bit elevated, so I was expecting the ball to, I was expecting to need to play longer, but because it was in the rough, I was expecting a bit of a flyer as well. And from this rough, it was also going to draw a little bit more, so I knew that I did need to take more club. So I actually just hit an 8-iron from here, and I hit a decent shot, but for this green it's actually really hard for the ball to stay on, especially from the rough. So if you're on the fairway, you might have a chance, but if not, everything actually slopes back right towards where my ball is right there. So I kind of knew that there was a big chance I was going to be right here. So anyway, for that shot over there, I actually expected the ball to run out more, and I expected it to be harder, but it actually had quite a bit of spin, which I'm quite surprised by. But then again, the conditions today might not be the same as the conditions from the last time I played it. So anyway, I still left myself with a makeable putt, but as I mentioned in the front 9 vlog, actually the greens at Tropicana are pretty difficult to read. And if you saw that putt, it actually breaks right at the hole. So I think that's what makes it difficult, because you can't really, basically you need perfect speed and perfect line to make those little short ones. And I personally actually found it easier to make the long ones than the short ones, as you maybe saw in my front 9 vlog, because I actually made quite a few long ones. But anyway, let's move on to the next hole. This is a par 4. Again, because they have cut the trees, my aim on this hole actually has changed to be just over the right side of those right bunkers. I can carry those bunkers, so I know that those bunkers are not an obstacle. And previously there were a lot more trees down the right side, so going down the right was a little bit more dangerous, but now it is actually pretty clear. And that's actually the best aim, because as you can see from this shot, the fairway is actually really narrow. It's maybe less than 10 paces wide, and the entire fairway is the same. So it's just a huge slope, and it's all downhill. So you really do need to aim it, and that's the bunker that I mentioned. So you really do need to aim perfectly over the right side. If not, you're going to be on the left side in the rough, which is also not a very easy shot. However, that's me playing with my distance. So depending on your distance, obviously your aim might change. But anyway, this is my second shot. I think this is just such a beautiful view, so such like a cosmopolitan golf view. But anyway, I only had 110 yards, so I'm hitting a pitching wedge here, and the wind was blowing pretty strong. But again, this green entirely slopes towards the left side, so even though I landed it pretty close to the pin, it just kicked. And as you can see from here, there's a big slope right before the pin, and then big slope that kicks to the left. So that's my ball down there on the left side. So that's also one of the things that I mentioned with the greens at Tropicana. You must really pay attention to the slopes and the way they kick, because especially because the greens are hard, they really do have a tendency to bounce away from the pin, and obviously that also depends on the pin positions for the day. So I had a pretty long putt here. I think it was more than a 30-footer for sure. So first things first, for long putts, I think you must really focus on speed, because obviously your line and speed go hand in hand. But if you are reading a line and you putt it short, chances are your line isn't even going to be close to correct. So I actually hit that a little bit hard and it did not break as much as I thought it was going to. So I had about a 3-footer for par, but I definitely saw a lot more break and it just did not come back. So it wasn't a bad putt, just did not do what I thought it was going to do. But it's okay, still walked away with a par. And this is the third hole here. So this hole was playing 163 yards because the pin was all the way tucked behind, so I am hitting a 7-iron here. And the wind was pretty strong and it was swirling, so I wasn't really sure which direction it was going to be, but it was a little bit more dominantly downwind. So I am hitting a 7-iron here, which should be a good club, I thought. And I was just hitting a full shot because I do want to have enough to carry those bunkers in the front. And again, as I said, the greens are very hard, so it really depends on your bounce. And I actually landed that a lot further than I thought, and it ended up going over. So those bunkers there, the left one is actually 139 yards to carry, so you need to make sure you have at least 145 to be safe. So that is my ball over the green there, and as you can see, the wind is blowing pretty strong, but now it's actually blowing left to right. When I was hitting it, it was a little bit downwind, so that's probably why I went over. But anyway, this is something that I like to do, deciding between a chip and a putt. Normally on another course, I think I would probably chip, but because on these greens, they have a tendency to be quite quick, I decided that it would be a smarter choice for me to putt. Which is basically after the decision of going there and checking my lie and the condition and stuff and seeing what's best suited for the shot at hand. So I am putting here and it's just a little bit off the green, so it's not going to affect that much. But as you will be able to see, I pretty much just hit that over that slope and it rolled out really quickly, which I'm quite surprised by because I didn't really hit that very hard. But anyway, sometimes that happens, and I had this short putt here. It was about a 3 or 4 footer, and I'm not sure if it's because the wind is blowing left to right, but it actually broke quite a bit more than I thought it was going to. So unfortunately a little 3 putt there, but it's alright. Let's move on to the next hole, which is a par 5, and I know I'm having like a super heated argument here with myself, but I'm actually talking to my friend, and I swear it's just I'm telling a story. But anyway, this par 5, it's a little bit dogleg left and there is water up there, so I'm hitting a 3-wood here actually because a driver comes pretty close. So to carry that bunker, it's quite a bit, so you would have to hit your driver pretty good. So I was hitting a 3-wood because I actually wanted to be short of those bunkers, and with a 3-wood I could aim straight there versus having to aim towards a very small fairway on the right side if I were to hit a driver. So for some reason, I don't know, I'm hitting longer than usual today. I actually end up reaching that bunker, which is kind of weird because I never reach it with a 3-wood, but I guess sometimes it happens. And the bunkers here at Tropicana are actually really soft. The sand is really soft, so it's really difficult to hit this fairway bunker shots, and it's also very difficult to hit long approach bunker shots. So that's definitely something that I'm not really used to because these are probably one of the softest sands that I've played in a while, but I still ended up getting it out there, just a lot longer of an approach shot, especially since there's water left and short of the green. So as you can see, when I was throwing the grass there, it was actually quite strong into the wind, and it's still pretty strong, and that's why it's a little bit shaky, this clip, so sorry about that. But I actually decided to go with more club because the pin is in front, but I knew that because there is water down the left side and the pin is pretty close to the water, I was going to go out towards the right side. And especially on a par 5 like this, when I'm hitting such a long club, we don't want to make any silly mistakes such as bringing water into play, so we do want to go towards the wider side of the green, which is the right side. But I'm not really sure if I hit that super good or the wind slowed down, but I actually ended up carrying that over, which I really didn't think was going to happen, especially with the wind that was blowing. So anyway, I was just slightly over the green, and I was chipping here with a 58-degree wedge. This chip is downhill and towards the water, so I was chipping a little bit of a lower one just to get it a little bit more spinny, so that I can play the slope. And it was a pretty decent chip with a 58 degree, and just ended up giving myself a little tap in for par. So this is not something I normally do, but do any of you guys actually putt with your glove, and don't you think it feels really weird? Because I tried putting with my glove here just because it was a little tap in one, and I don't know, it feels really weird to me and I just can't do it. But tell me if you do putt with your glove and if there's a reason why you putt with your glove. So moving on, this is the par 4 hole 5. This par 4 is, well, it's a little bit tricky to the eye because there's bunkers down the left side and water down the right side, but there's actually quite a bit of fairway. But normally the tee box faces towards the left, so it seems like it's facing towards those bunkers, and it makes the water a lot more intimidating. But you really do have to aim towards that bunkers next to the green. If you can see it from here, it's on the left side of the green, and I hit a pretty good shot there with my driver and left myself with a short pitching wedge for my approach shot. So again, this green is a little bit elevated, but it does bounce away from the pin, so basically the green is downhill, so you do want to make sure that you have a good club selection. The wind again here was blowing a little bit into and left to right, so, and especially if you go over on the right side, chances are you're going to go either to a really steep slope or you're going to be in a water hazard. So the good thing is I'm hitting a pitching wedge here, so I could pretty much go for the pin. But if you're hitting a longer club, you do need to make sure that you're calculating for the green and the slope. But anyway, after that shot, I left myself with this about a 6-footer for birdie. And it's again a little bit spoiler, but I do miss this putt. And I just want you to pay attention to the amount of break. And I really don't know if it's the wind that's affecting it, because most of the time I'm missing it low and it is the direction of the wind is blowing. But for some reason, normally if you play with me, you would know that I'm not really someone that misses it low. I tend to take more break rather than less. So I don't know if it's my eye and not being used to playing at Tropicana, or just the greens, or even the wind. But anyway, it's just not a good putting day for me, I guess. Let's move on to the next hole, which is a par 5. This is a short par 5 hole, so from this tee box I am cutting towards the left side so that I have a shorter approach shot to the green. So I am aiming towards the left houses over there, and if you are teeing off from a further behind tee, or if you don't hit it as far, you probably want to go more towards the right side, because if not, you're going to be stuck in the rough, and that's not an ideal position to be in for your second shot, because you want to give yourself the best. Anyway, it's not a long hole, so you don't really have to cut the corner just to go for the green. So as you can see, my second shot, I had 199 yards, and it was straight into the wind, and this green is a little bit elevated with bunkers all up front. So I was hitting a little bit more club. I was hitting a 5-foot here just to make sure that I could carry those bunkers, and I was trying to hit a little bit out towards the right side and let the wind take it, because the wind was blowing a little bit right to left. And I did not expect it to go that far because I actually carried those bunkers. I thought it was going to be in the bunker, but I had this chip for eagle actually, and it was actually a pretty decent chip, but I don't know, the wind just blew it and it did not spin. But that could also be because it was sitting down in a rough, so sometimes that happens. And this is my birdie opportunity again, birdie attempt again on this par 5, and again facing it low. I don't know, from here even it looks to me like it's a little bit left to right, so I guess it just could be the slopes are a little bit tricky. I don't know guys, but I will come back and conquer these greens. Anyway, it started drizzling a little bit on this hole. This is the par 4 hole 7, and there are bunkers down the left side and the right side, so I'm aiming for that further out bunker, which is kind of almost in the center of the fairway. And normally it was a little bit into the wind, and normally I don't reach that bunker, so I assume that that will be a good spot for me to aim to, because it is pretty far out, and this hole is uphill as well. I mean, the tee shot to the fairway is uphill, so it doesn't really roll out that much. It's pretty much carry distance, so that is normally where I aim. And plus on the left side, that bunker there is a little bit far to carry, so you do definitely want to go towards the right side. and I hit a pretty good shot there. And hi guys, this is me. So for most of you guys asking, yes I do just use my phone and my tripod. But anyway, as I said, I hit a good shot and I didn't expect myself to be in the bunker, but I don't know guys, I'm just hitting it further, I guess. So because I've not been hitting very good bunker shots, I really hovered this ball more and kept my lower body really quiet during this shot to make sure that I made good contact, and I actually made really good contact, so I was very happy with that shot. It was not an easy bunker shot, so very happy that I made good contact. And I had this birdie attempt again on this par 4 after that bunker shot. So this one is a little bit further than the previous ones, but actually I didn't think it was that difficult of a putt. But again, it just takes a big abrupt break and miss it low again. So that's the third birdie in a row that I've missed. I don't know if it's me, my putting, because I think I'm leaving it a good distance past the hole. This is the 8th hole, which is a little bit of a downhill par 3. So it actually doesn't really play downhill for most of the times that I've played here. So I'm hitting a 9 iron here, and the wind is blowing a little bit into us. So I assumed that it was going to be a good club, and those bunkers are definitely not within this 9 iron carry distance, so I knew that I would be good. So I just hit a full 9 iron, and I don't know how, but I ended up carrying the green, and for good thing for me, it actually had quite a bit of spin, so it did not bounce that far over, but again had this little downhill putt, and it was definitely going to be very quick, so I decided to putt instead of chip. And as you can tell, I just tapped that really soft, but it actually reaches the hole. So wrong line, but it was a very speedy putt from there, so I would definitely walk away with a par on a hole like this when I have a difficult putt coming in. We are almost done guys. Now we are on the last hole, which is a par 4. So on this hole, I actually shot to the bunkers for 204 yards, and to the left side there, which is, so the left side there is a bit of fairway and then it goes downhill, but towards the water it's about 230 or 240 yards. So I actually decided to go with a 5-wood because I thought that it would be good enough for me to aim towards the left side of the bunker, and if I were to hit it a little bit to the right side, it would be enough to carry that bunker. And there should be ample space down the left side, which is what I thought. Normally I actually come here and hit a hybrid because a hybrid would be short of that bunker on the right side, but today I decided that I wanted to hit a little bit of a longer club, so I went with a 5-wood. And I hit that 5-wood pretty good. It was exactly where I wanted it to go, and unfortunately you'll see why my face is like this, because it actually went too far, and I definitely did not expect it to reach all the way here, and it almost went in the water hazard. So this is a very difficult lie, and basically I knew that I was not going to have a follow through on the shot. So it's very important on shots like this to just commit to the shot. If you're not going to commit to it, then definitely either chip out to the side or go towards the right side, because if you're not committed to it, you're definitely going to water. So thankfully, I mean, I cut some trees there, but you know, I hit a good shot and it ended up on the green. So definitely not complaining about that after the lie that I had. And surprisingly still had a birdie putt. So this was my putt on the last hole. And my main goal here was to make sure that I did not leave it low, because as you've seen, I've literally left every single putt low. And yeah, so that is East 1 at Tropicana guys. I will come back one day and probably show you guys East 2, because I definitely will come back to Tropicana. So I hope you guys enjoyed this vlog, and if you guys have the opportunity to come and play Tropicana as well, let me know what you think. I hope this was interesting for you guys. Thank you guys for watching, and see you guys next time.